Hey guys, it's Jeff from Pressure Luck, and today I am so excited to share with you one of my favorite new recipes in the lighter step-by-step Instant Pot cookbook. It is a pasta dish. I'm gonna start with that because I'll tell you something right now. Just because you're eating a pasta dish doesn't mean you can't eat lighter at the same time. In lieu of having a really heavy, creamy, cheesy sauce, how about a sauce that's on the lighter side? And whatever dairy we add in is a lighter version of something you would typically add. Guys, we're making something today that is so outrageously delicious and so simple. And I love balsamic, and I love mushrooms, and I love little ear-shaped pasta called orecchiette. So we're making some balsamic mushroom orecchiette. It's laughably simple, it's one of the easiest things you'll make, and it's also one of the most flavorful pasta dishes you're eating, and you're never gonna even realize how light it is because it's so satisfying in terms of flavor that it's gonna be doing your taste buds and your waistline a favor. So let's go right to the Instant Pot and do it up. Balsamic Mushroom Orecchiette. Alright, so like almost every dish that I have, it starts off with a type of onion, and for this I'm using one large shallot. And we'll dice it up. And really that concludes all of my chopping and snapping for this recipe. Now let's go to the Instant Pot and add in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, as well as about 2 tablespoons of some ghee, which is clarified butter. And I made this myself. It's in the cookbook. It's super easy in the Instant Pot. You just have to boil some regular unsalted butter. And then I popped it into a silicone ice tray, and look at this, perfect. Each one's about 1.5 teaspoons or so. And now we're gonna give this some heat to heat up the oil and let that butter sizzle. All right, now I'm coming down to the control panel of the updated Instant Pot Duo Plus. They've updated it a bit. And I'm going to hit the saute button here. And I wanna go on high. And now I adjust that on this new model by hitting the temperature button, whether I want it to be medium, low, or are you going the other direction, or high? Just like that, simple. Also on the new Duo Plus, if you just leave it there, it's not gonna do anything. You have to hit the start button. And then we hit the start button, and there we go. And just so you know, ghee is a clarified butter where all the milk solids are boiled off, making it one of the only things you can have on paleo that's dairy friendly. It's also practically the healthiest form of butter around. But if you don't want to add it, you don't have to add it. Just add in a couple more tablespoons of the extra virgin olive oil. Alright, now once the ghee's melted and the oil is starting to bubble, we're going to add in our shallots, as well as one of our key ingredients for this dish, the mushrooms. I am using 1 pound of baby bella mushrooms that are already pre-sliced. I got them from the market, but you can use any kind of mushrooms. White mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms, whatever you want. Just make sure they're pre-sliced. Or you slice them yourself. Just slice them up. And we're gonna saute this in the pot for about 5 minutes until the mushrooms begin to brown and then cook down into about half as high as they are now. Alright, and after about 5 minutes of sauteing my mushrooms, you'll see they'll have browned nicely. They'll begin to cook down, they'll begin to sweat and soften up. But you're gonna see the bottom of the pot's gonna have a little bit of brownness stuck on from when we saute the mushrooms. That's all about to change with our next key ingredients. And that will be 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar. Now notice, as soon as I add that to the pot, I can deglaze the bottom and just scrape any of the brownness away with a wooden spatula. It comes right up and becomes nice and smooth. Just stir that around in the pot. As well as an optional teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, or if you can't have that due to any fish allergies, or for whatever reason, you can absolutely also use a sugar-free steak sauce, but that's optional. And I should have added this a little earlier, I forgot to do that, but that's fine, no big deal. Well, 3 cloves or a tablespoon of crushed or minced garlic. I would have normally have added that right after I sauteed the mushrooms and shallot for about another minute, but it's fine if you add it now. We're just gonna stir this around in the pot, and we're gonna let this simmer for 3 minutes. So while the recipe in the book has you adding the garlic a little earlier than what I just did, really, it makes no difference if you add it now. It's not the end of the world. It's truly going to be the exact same result. And you see, as we're simmering in the pot, we're going to want it to glaze one more time, making sure you see that streak of cleanness and smoothness on the bottom of the pot. That's what we want. And it smells absolutely heavenly with that balsamic mixed in with the mushrooms. Alright, so after 3 minutes of the mushrooms and shallots and garlic simmering in that balsamic vinegar and possibly the Worcestershire sauce, I'm going to add in 3.5 cups of a broth of your choice. I'm using some garlic broth, or you can use low sodium vegetable broth, mushroom broth, whatever you want. And I'm going to season this up with 1 teaspoon each of seasoned salt and some dried oregano. And I'm going to stir that up in the pot so the seasonings get nice and incorporated into the broth. And now it's time to add our pasta. For this one, guys, I'm using something called orecchiette. You see that? Orecchiette. That's how you pronounce that. It looks like orecchiette. Orecchiette. And they look like little frisbees or little ears, or those little toys where you'd press them down in the middle and boop, they'd pop up. You know what I mean when you went to the doctor's office? Whatever. You're gonna take a box of this, 1 pound of it, and add it to the pot. And we're gonna just smooth that out. We're not gonna stir it in. We're just gonna press it down a little bit so it's nice and submerged in the broth. And if you can't find orecchiette for whatever reason, you can use any short form pasta for this if you want. You can use elbow macaroni, you can use some mezze penne, you can use some ziti rigate, whatever you want. It's up to you. It's gonna be the same cook time no matter what you choose. But I really love the orecchiette for this. It's super great. And it's adorable. All right, and that's it, guys. We're ready to pressure cook. I'm gonna secure my lid, make sure that I'm in the sealing position, which on the new Duo Plus I already am. Now I'm gonna come back down to the control panel and hit the cancel button, or the keep warm / cancel button, depending on your model. And I'm gonna hit the pressure cook or manual button, depending on your model, and that'll be in a different spot no matter what pot you're on. Every model's a little different. And I'm gonna adjust the time with the plus or minus buttons, and I wanna go down for this for 5 minutes at high pressure. And on the Duo Plus, I adjust that with these arrows here for low or high. On other pots, you'd hit the pressure level button if it has that. Like I said, every model's a little different. And since my Instant Pot Duo Plus model, or any model that has a start button on it, you have to hit that to start the function. If your model doesn't have a start button, after a few moments of doing nothing, it'll start on its own. And now that we're done pressure cooking, we're gonna perform a quick release. And the pin just dropped, so we're gonna take that lid off. And there we go, looking perfectly cooked. All right, let's take our spatula and just give everything a stir in the pot. And you're gonna see there's still some liquid in there, which is perfect. That's what we want. So just give it a stir. And now let's give this a slightly creamy finish with 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt. You can use 0%, 2%, 5%, whatever you want. This is a great substitute for a heavier dairy item like sour cream. And when it's mixed into a pasta like this, you're not even gonna be able to tell the difference. And now I'm gonna stir that into my pasta until it's fully melded. It just gives it a really nice creamy element to it. The perfect touch. And you see how the sauce is thickened up nicely already at this point? We're gonna let this rest for about 3 to 5 minutes though for it to come together more as the pasta continues to absorb. All right, and after a few minutes of passing, look at this. Thickened up perfectly. Now let's serve this up. All right, I'm gonna add some to a bowl. Of course, let's get some mushrooms in there, as many as we want. Okay, and let's not overdo it. Let's always be mindful of our portions. And now as a final optional touch, if we wish to, we can use some balsamic glaze. It looks like this stuff right here. You don't have to add this. And just give it a little bit of a drizzle. It's on top, just like that. Very nice. And if you want, you could put a few dabs of some truffle oil, be it white or black, whichever you wish. Doesn't need to be in there. It's a nice little touch. And there we have it, guys. Look at how gorgeous this is, guys. We are ready to serve. Let's try it out. Okay, and there it is, guys, the pasta, the finished product. Look at how beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's really pretty. And look at all that mushroom. It's insane because you would think this is a very indulgent pasta dish. And yes, there is pasta here. It is carbohydrates. So if you're on keto or paleo, chances are you're not gonna really want to eat this. But if you're not following those lifestyles, or if you are following them and you're not super strict about it and you're okay with having pasta every now and then, this is the one to do it, because you know what? You're not gonna feel terribly guilty afterwards. Don't forget, it's also all about portion control. You don't really want to eat more than this in a sitting. And the key way to do that, to really make it last and make it feel really fulfilling, is to do it slowly. Which sometimes I have to remind myself, because I can sometimes shovel food in my mouth. As fast as I talk, sometimes that's as fast as I eat. You know, what can I tell you? I'm a New Yorker. All right. It is so good. The mushrooms are like butter. The orecchiette, tender. And that balsamic sauce with that slight touch of the Greek yogurt in there at the end. What a wonderful solution to something that's heavier like a sour cream or a cream cheese. Dynamite. Absolutely divine. This is one that's going to please anybody who's into mushrooms or balsamic in general. They will love this. And even if you don't like mushrooms, just give this one a try. They're so soft and tender. It's literally like Streisand butter in your mouth. You know what I mean? Alright, we'll just say butter in your mouth. Streisand butter in your mouth sounds weird. But if you're watching, Barbara, I'll make this for you anytime you want. You name it and I'll be there. If you enjoy this dish, and if you don't have this cookbook yet, get it. And if you haven't tried this dish, and if it looks appealing to you, get this cookbook anyway. Get this cookbook, because guess what? There's not just pasta recipes in here. There's only one chapter of that. There's a slew of protein chapters like chicken, like seafood, like meat. And we have a vegetable section. We have everything you'd want. And every recipe has step-by-step photos, color ones, gorgeous ones, and a beautiful final shot of what everything will look like. And this is all real, by the way. This is everything you see in here is what my hands made during this shoot. These are not stock photos. So what you see is literally what you get. And of course, every recipe also has nutrition information, and it tells you what lifestyle it's compliant with. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. Check out PressureLoveCooking.com for a bunch of my other recipes, as well as Facebook.com/PressureLoveCooking, and like that page. If more indulgent recipes are your thing, get my first cookbook, the Step-by-Step Instant Pot Cookbook. The orange one is indulgent, the blue one is lighter. Simple as that. Check out Facebook.com/PressureLoveCooking and like that page anytime a new item comes out, deals, tips, things like that. And also check me out at Pressure Love Cooking on YouTube, Twitter, I never really go there, Pinterest, Instagram, and I guess TikTok, which I've also only done one video on, but maybe I should do more. Maybe like this one. I feel like this one would do really well. So if you see it on there, I did it first. Thank you so much again, guys. And the next time you find a box of orecchiette, well, get that Instant Pot ready. Enjoy.